Well, as I mentioned, Israel's President Isaac Herzog addressed a joint session of Congress this morning with a speech meant to convey the strength of Israel's democracy, while also emphasizing the special bond between the United States and the Holy Land. Congress invited Herzog to commemorate the 75th anniversary of modern-day Israel's founding, but his speech, which also touched on threats from the Iranian regime, came just a day after 9 Democrats in the House of Representatives voted against a measure declaring U.S. support for Israel. Joining me now to discuss this and more regarding Israel is Oklahoma Senator James Lankford. He serves on 4 committees, including the Senate Intelligence Committee and the Senate Committee on Homeland Security. He is also the co-chair of the Senate Abraham Accords Conference. Senator Lankford, welcome back to Washington Watch. Great to see you.
Great to see you, Tony.
First, your reaction today to the speech by Israel's president.
Yeah, clear, good speech. Obviously, the president of Israel is going to come and present Israel and our partnership and friendship. But he was really good about talking about, the United States recognized Israel literally 11 minutes after Israel declared itself an independent country. The United States was the first nation to be able to jump in and say, we recognize Israel. We've remained in that very strong partnership, regardless of governments and presidents. We've remained in a strong commitment to Israel, rightfully so. And he came to basically say thank you for that and to say we do face a common threat that isn't a nuclear armed Iran. And we will continue to be able to partner together in our democracies. There's good themes for him.
He also alluded to some domestic issues there in Israel, Prime Minister Netanyahu's efforts for judicial reform, which has been criticized by the Biden administration. Your take on that?
Yeah, it's interesting. The Biden administration has criticized Netanyahu over and over again and saying you're trying to interfere in an independent judiciary, while at the same time, Democrats in the House and the Senate are talking about packing the court, and they're doing these new ethics charges on our Supreme Court. So literally, while Democrats in the Senate are attacking our court in the Supreme Court, they're also challenging Netanyahu, saying you can't speak ill of an independent judiciary. It's very bizarre on that. Quite frankly, Israel does have some issues they've got to deal with in their judiciary to make sure that it's clean lines. There are real boundaries, and their judiciary just can't grab any bill, any issue, even if it doesn't even come through the courts. They have the ability to just be able to grab wherever they want to and to be able to speak on it. That's different than our judiciary, and it's understandable. Well, Netanyahu is frustrated there to say, let the legislative branch do their job in the Knesset, let the court do theirs. So he's challenging that. There's a great debate happening in Israel. That's the nature of a democracy. They'll get it resolved.
Is it our role to weigh in on that?
It is not our role to be able to weigh in on that. We are friends, so we can obviously speak as friends do, but that is the people of Israel to be able to speak in on the direction of the future of Israel.
You mentioned Iran and the nuclear threat there. I want to play a short clip of the president's comments today. Clip number 4, please.
Mr. Speaker, perhaps the greatest challenge Israel and the United States face at this time together is the Iranian nuclear program. Let there be no doubt, Iran does not strive to attain nuclear energy for peaceful purposes.
Now, Senator, that issue has not been it hasn't been in the forefront of the media and discussion because there's been so many other issues with Ukraine. But is that still a existential threat, not only to Israel, but to the United States?
Tony, 100% it is. The destabilizing force in the Middle East is Iran. Iran is the one that's using all their money to be able to pour into Hezbollah, into terrorism, to destabilizing what's happening in Lebanon, to destabilizing Iraq and their government, to what's happening in Yemen and the attacks in Saudi Arabia. All of that is Iran that's doing that. And a nuclear capable Iran would absolutely use that power against Israel. They've been very clear. Iran wants to wipe Israel off the map, and Israel's just saying, we take them seriously. When they say that, we don't think they're kidding. We think they're serious, and so they cannot be allowed to have a nuclear weapon. That has been the spoken statement of multiple presidents now in the United States. It's been the clear statement from Israel as well to say, we understand what a Holocaust looks like very well. We cannot allow that to be able to happen in this day and age from Iran dropping a nuclear weapon. And as Netanyahu often says, Israel is a small country. We are a one-bomb country. If there is a nuclear weapon dropped on Israel, it wipes out the entire country. And so they take that threat seriously. We should as well.
So that said, Senator, the position of this administration, the Biden administration? Is it supportive of that view?
It is verbally supportive, Tony, but as you and I both know, we are nervous about what they will actually do at that moment to be able to defend our ally Israel and to be able to make sure that Israel has the capabilities that they need to be able to defend themselves. Israel has not asked for American troops. They've not asked for America to be involved, but they're asking for the ability to be able to help defend themselves. And that is something we need to make very, very clear to Israel, that we do stand with them in their own right to be able to protect their own people and their own sovereignty.
Senator, I'm going to go to another issue there in Israel, in Samaria and Judea. You and I actually, a number of years ago, we traveled there together. First, among the first congressional groups that went into what's called the West Bank in the biblical area, we were in Ariel. And through your advocacy and others, we've seen these joint projects for medical research that have led to some pretty good stuff when it comes to cancer at Ariel University. The Biden administration has now put in place, or actually withdrawn or overturned a Trump-era policy that allowed for this joint ventures, these joint efforts, all because this is beyond what's called the green line. Are you concerned about the steps that the Biden administration are taking here?
Yeah, extremely concerned about it. So much so we're actually working on legislation to be able to clarify that American universities and other universities can continue to be able to partner with places like Ariel University. MIT in the United States currently has a partnership with Ariel University doing advanced research there. This is not some isolated university there. 500,000 Israelis live in this area. And as you and I have both seen, and Ariel is one of those communities that's just a manufacturing town like we have here in the United States, that Palestinians and Israelis literally working in the same factories in the same places, side by side, doing business together on it. And what this administration, the Biden administration, is doing is they're trying to discourage that. Quite frankly, that's something that should be encouraged, is that Palestinians and Israelis peacefully working side by side, rather than trying to diminish universities and research and manufacturing locations working side by side. It is a peaceful operation to be able to get more Palestinians and Israelis working together than it is trying to be able to keep people separate. So literally what the Biden administration is doing is changing the Trump policy, saying that they want to, quote unquote, support the Palestinians, but they're actually driving the wedge even deeper by doing it.
Well, the Palestinians like it because they have good paying jobs. There's peace there in that community. And so it's really bringing these two communities together. It's an economic development issue, but it's also, as I mentioned, most of this is based on science, medical science. And you would think the party of science would be all about this, but it looks like they're putting politics once again above people.
Yeah, we've seen that way too often, where politics is more important than people or science, and political dogmatism on things where they'll just say this is a Palestinian area, so we're going to isolate this and literally pull jobs, pull opportunity, and pull scientific research away from that area. That's the wrong way to be able to do it. We should actually be trying to get more people to do integrated business and to cooperate together.
Well, Senator, I'd love to follow back up with you once you introduce that legislation so we can help you with that.
Thanks, Tony. I'll be glad to be able to have the help any way we can. And thanks to so many of your listeners and viewers on it, and the way they stand for life and for the values of Israel.